I'm just in from Boston. How are you doing? How was this weekend?
Well, it was good, except that a lot of the artists got arrested here.
What happened?
Well, the police from the undercover squad, the peddler unit, came here and arrested 5 different artists over Saturday and Sunday, and uniformed police from the first precinct went to all the other artists and threatened them with arrest, made them take down their displays and leave the area.
How old and how young were the people that were arrested?
Well, most of the artists were from their 20s to their 50s, except for one artist had his 8-year-old son with him, and he and his son were taken into custody.
An 8-year-old?
An 8-year-old was, I'm sure, was quite traumatic for the boy. He was visiting his father from Washington.
So he couldn't be separated legally?
Well, luckily they didn't separate him, because they would have put the child in the child welfare system, which is even worse than going to jail.
Oh my God. Why do you think the arrest came down on this particular weekend, and what date exactly is it?
They were arrested on the 16th of July, and the reason was that, according to the police, this is what the police told us, that the community board had a meeting a few days before that, and that they had put so much pressure on the police that they had gotten the district attorney to contact the police and insist that they come down here this weekend and arrest the artists. And they were specifically just arresting artists this weekend. I have here something very interesting that was sent to me from a magazine in Iowa. It's a travel magazine. It's an ad sponsored by the I Love New York Corporation. The purpose of that is to bring tourists to New York. And in this ad, they have a letter that was written to a newspaper in Iowa, and it's from someone who stayed in New York for about a week. And they put down here that their favorite part of the city was that at 1:45 in the morning, they came out of a restaurant and were able to find a street artist selling a painting that was exactly the kind of painting they'd been looking for years.
And then one of the people said, "I'll go get the van," and then we had to go get in a police van, and then we went all the way to 30th Street, and then we had to get a voucher. And then when we came back, but he never said you're under arrest. It was a little bit scary. It was also very boring.
Was it scary going in a police van?
Not really.
Well, was that your first time in a police van?
Yes.
What did they say when did they pick you up?
Well, we had to put our stuff back. They took one of our paintings, and then they took us in a van, and we had to get there in the van on Tuesday.
What's your name?
Paulo.
And how old are you?
9.
What do you think of these police tactics in New York City and Soho?
Well, they're not very good. I think they should be stopped.
I have permission, and the Alpha Squad, which is like Gestapo, they come in plainclothes people, like t-shirts and shorts.
And what happened? Did they arrest you, or did they just give you a summons?
They took me away. They took me in a paddy wagon with him.
With the kid?
Yeah. He went to the
kids?
office. No, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I told him I cannot. He's visiting me from Richmond, Virginia. I have custody. I mean, not custody. I have child's, what do you call, visitation right to be with him in New York. He comes in an airplane to stay with me.
Right.
With me only custodian. I said I cannot separate
so
from him.
So they fingerprinted you and did that whole bit?
Fingerprint me, photographed me, and everything. Put him in Alpha Squad in the precinct there in the Midtown.
That's your son, obviously, right?
This one here. Yeah, it's my son. I will not get intimidated by those Gestapo-like tactics. It's typical fascist this tactic. Waited for my son to be here.
Under the United States Constitution and under the New York City vending ordinance, First Amendment activities do not require a license on the public sidewalk. Nevertheless, groups such as the Soho Alliance have been working night and day to have all the artists in New York arrested. Recently, members of the Soho Alliance have publicly admitted in print that their real agenda is to get all the tourists out of Soho. As a result, they want to have all the artists arrested. They want to have all the cafes and restaurants closed. The tactic of the city is that they arrest an artist, confiscate their artwork, and then dismiss the case. Why do they dismiss the cases? Because they know that if any of these cases actually get to go through the court system, that the vending ordinance under which the artists are arrested will be found unconstitutional.
That's right.
Not one citizen of this city has ever been hurt by an artist displaying their art. What do we want? Art. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Art. When do we want it? Now.
Can we interview you for a moment? We'd like to know what you think of artists selling their art on the street.
I love it. I think it adds to the neighborhood. I think that it's colorful, and you get to see some of what's happening outside of galleries. I'm all for it.
And why do you think the mayor and the police commissioner are arresting these people?
Well, I don't think that they see it the same way. I think that they don't respect artists. I think that they don't understand how artists, young artists, struggle to get their works into galleries and how expensive and prohibitive it is to have art without having an art agent. We aren't in the same era that we were, that you can have art without an agent and be popular or get your work out to the people. And every artist should have the opportunity to do that because it is an expression of oneself.
Is it a First and 14th Amendment right violation?
I think so. I think so. If I was an artist and my materials were confiscated by the police and then ruined, I would be devastated.
What would you do about it?
I would sue. Sure, I'd like to say that if you give the artists the chance to license and bring their goods down on the street so they can be sold to the general public, that New York would become a more colorful and safer place and more hospitable, because people wouldn't be so afraid if they saw things happening on the street that were safe, family-oriented, and artistically encompassed. I mean, when a world without art is not a world. It never will be a world. It will be something barren and ugly, and it will drive people away from the New York City area if they don't have the rich cultural experiences from the sidewalk to the gallery. Mayor Giuliani, I would love to give you this message. Artists in New York need the opportunity and the forum to be on the streets. It creates a wonderful atmosphere in the neighborhoods, and it doesn't do any harm. Mr. William Breton, Police Commissioner, if you came into a neighborhood that was cheerfully adorned with artwork from artists who are doing no harm, I think it's a far sight better than coming into an area that is trashed up and has drug pushers on the streets and homeless out there, and I think it would attract a lot more people to New York than it would not.
I think it's a terrible idea. One of the reasons why most customers come down to Soho is to actually see the artists on the street, and they're part of the whole culture, the whole atmosphere, and it would just take away.
So how is it that these very moneyed people that own the co-ops and condominiums can talk their city councilors into doing what they want?
Well, I think maybe it's the gallery owners, the people who sell paintings in, galleries, who might see them trying to take away from their business. But other than that, it's part of the beauty of it, especially on this weather, a day like today, an artist sitting outside doing someone's self-portrait, or just doing the scene. It's part of the whole deal. It's I think that, I think they bring more people into the town. So yes, I think they do create more jobs and, more population, more paying customers in the area.
So do you have any idea where the city council gets their power from?
money. I don't know. People who are paying them off. I don't know.
Of course.
They don't have my vote, though. I say keep the artists on the street.